All right, we are live. Pontificators Night. Ah, let's rock. Let us rock. We have Comic Book Bob in the house. We have Chester Busby III, and we have the always rocking Joe Albino Thunder Buns Fulton. How are you guys?
Doing
Awesome.
good. I'm laughing my ass off is what I'm doing, man. I'm looking at this freaking thing and it's, oh my God.
Well, you guys, we don't really prepare too much for these shows. So I just mentioned the Pelosi action figure to Chester, and he's trying to debunk it right now because his brain cannot fathom that there's actually a Nancy Pelosi action figure, and that it's like, what is it, like $62,000 already, something like that?
Yeah. I just think it's a troll. I think they're getting trolled.
No, well, dude, this company. No, remember I said that there's a Kamala Harris action figure. The same group made that one. There's like 5 of them, dude. There's Nancy Pelosi. There's Kamala Harris. There's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, because they're in that shot, right? There's a shot. There's like a group shot of action figures. We'll share, you guys. We'll share the site with you and let you know. But I just think it's funny that we just sprung this on Chester, and he's like, no. And to be honest, Chester, I was the same way when I found out. Somebody sent that to me this morning. I was like, there's no way. There's
a gif of her with a gavel, and the dude is putting on a freaking pink mask. It's got to be a troll.
Dude, I found the Kickstarter page.
I'm on it. Let me read these stories.
God. There's an Elizabeth Warren figure.
Okay, we're gonna do this because I was gonna pimp this a little bit more, but this is getting heated, and oh shoot, we need to figure this shit out because I don't know, Chester could be right, but I don't think so because I've seen the site. Here it is. So you guys should be seeing the Nancy Pelosi Kickstarter, Black Lives Matter. They are at 62. I've been watching this all day, Chester. These numbers are changing. So if this is a joke, people are backing this thing. They have 1,916 backers, 22 days to go. They just started this bitch. This is like, what, 8 days into this campaign, and they already have $62,000?
Oh, well, I'm happy someone's making money. But, I mean, look at the thing down here. Let me read it. These are imperfect times, but still they could be worse. Imagine a parallel universe where everything else is exactly the same, except there is no Nancy Pelosi to act as a check on power. Kind of terrifying, right? Pelosi has basically been leading the resistance these last few years. She's the only person standing between us and the unfettered lunacy, a tiny atlas bearing the weight of the world on her shoulder. They're trolling, dude, without question.
Well, so you think this is a giant just gag?
Yeah, I think they're trolling.
Dude, I don't think. I don't know, man.
Can you do this legally? I mean, if you don't have Nancy Pelosi to sign off on it, can you even do this legally?
Oh, if they make the thing and make money off it, that's fine. But that doesn't mean it is in some manner of sarcasm.
Dude,
dude. Like you said, if it's a parody, if it is a joke, legally they don't need her to sign off, right?
No, dude, you need to scroll down. Look at the things on this thing right here. Sees through the lies, thinks 5 moves ahead. Really?
That's what I mean. This is a troll. This is a conservative.
Armed with polysyllabic words. Mysterious mace.
Yeah, but they still. I don't know, man. If this was a troll, this is one of the problems I do have with Kickstarter. So if this is a troll, can Kickstarter get in trouble? If
they make the product and they deliver it, then what does it matter? I mean, if you're the idiot that gave money toward their troll, well, that's not their fault.
Right. That's true.
You know what?
If they can hide behind the parody law, then no harm, no foul, right?
Chester, right. I wasn't with you until I read the mysterious mace thing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, transmits messages.
It's okay. Troll.
Yeah. I think this is a troll disguised as being woke.
Yeah, but if you're going to make an action figure, this is how you sell it, right? This is the fun of the action figure, where she's got all these moves. So I think this could be a troll or serious, just based on this outline of her powers. To be honest, it's the only selling point that there really is to this action figure because it's Nancy Pelosi. You know what I mean? Like, they have to make up abilities and make it seem more interesting than it is because it's a senator. It's Nancy Pelosi, a very uninteresting person.
Speaker of the House, thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry, Speaker of the House. Yeah, she's got one of the most powerful positions in the country. Yeah, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. I still wish she was just a senator, but
No.
There's more than meets the eye here. Yeah, this sounds like it is, but I don't know, man. I think it could go either way. We should see what the chat thinks.
Wow.
But this is pretty nuts. And here's what you were talking about, Bob. These are the other action figures. They're kind of blurred in the background, but
they did a Bernie Sanders one too that raised almost $250,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
so this is a joke. Somebody's buying into it because they're making some serious cash. And also look at this bullshit. She's got a little mask on so she doesn't get the COVID. But yet she can break her own sanction and go get her hair cut and dyed without a mask and breaking her own laws.
That's the genius of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this company, this FCTRY, they've been making these things for a while now, dude.
Yeah, well, we'll go back and you can share that with the troops here. But they even have variant cover versions. They have the deep blue and the magenta.
Yeah, I know. I mean, come on, right?
Gosh. I like that it just says Pelosi, know your power. Real life action figures. Oh man, you can double up the Pelosi. You can share these with your friend Chester.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, that's right. That's what I'm planning on doing.
I was actually thinking of buying one of these just as a gag gift for one of my friends.
They're so expensive, though.
I wonder if there's a tier that includes the San Francisco row home dream house.
Yeah.
That might be a stretch goal.
Complete with poop on the stoop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
poor person that got arrested. What did they do? I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
we got the FCTRY. So they are Brooklyn-based production design studio that makes toys and other stuff too. See more. Jason Finberg. So maybe we should do some research on these guys. Let's see what this is all about.
Wow.
Dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
these guys are making bank.
Are you serious?
Dude, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg figure raised $750,000.
$750,000.
$613,000. These guys are this is a scam, man. These guys are and these figures look cheap as shit.
There's no way they got permission for this, right?
There can't be. No, there's no way.
No, there's no
But
way.
well, no, actually, dude, I don't know because I'm looking at the Bernie Sanders one and it says featured on Gizmodo, USA Today, Politico, Newsweek, New York Post, The Atlantic, The Washington Post, The James Corden Show. These guys have tons of backing.
Nah, this shit is legit, man. This company puts its politics into action figures with products ranging from Elizabeth Warren doll to unicorn snot. Brooklyn's FCTRY firm turns whimsy into mass market hits.
Telling you, dude.
So there's the Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, there's the Obama one in the back. Yeah.
She's got Donald Trump over her head. I don't think the skin is orange enough, to be honest.
Fair. That is fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I yell foul. So what is this unicorn snot? So you can buy unicorn snot. It's lip gloss.
Are you sure it's not some kind of sexual lube?
No, I'm not.
Either way, I bet it's full of glitter.
Oh, it is. You know how
Oh,
that
damn.
goes. Yes.
Oh, here are the founders. There's Jason Finberg and his wife. Both studied art and design in college. So I guess that's all you need.
Oh God, there's a Joe Biden one.
All right. Yeah. All right. It's probably real. They look like lefties to me. Yeah.
Oh God,
Lefties.
oh,
Wait,
damn.
where's the Joe Biden one? Is it another site? You got that?
Yeah, I got it right here. You want to see it?
Wait, hold on. I want to see Joe Biden.
I think it's an older one. I think they made this back when he was still with Obama.
I want to see the Ruth.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome, dude.
He's got a really big head. Yeah, I thought the Sanders one should have had a bigger head too.
Here we go. Where's that? There you go.
We're melting down poor Chester's brain. He's like, how could this be legit?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It seems so trollish. It seems comical, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, remember when Marvel did New Warriors? Like, didn't you think you were being put on? It felt like
Yeah, no, that's true. I did. That is true.
New Warriors, yeah.
Dude, look at this. Wire rim glasses to see through patriarchal bullshit. Silk gloves to uphold rights for everybody.
What is the pulled back hair? The pulled back hair because heroes
have no time for
flyaways.
Yeah, see, this seems like they're making fun, though.
Righteous throw the next best thing to a cape.
I think it's the only way they can sell this, Chester, and make it seem interesting. How do you sell a Ruth Ginsburg action figure unless you make up BS to make her seem more interesting? I like
this one. Pointing finger to steady the scales of justice.
Oh, there you go.
This is comedy. This is writing itself.
Oh, she's got
yeah.
Dude, yeah. Dude, look at that face, man.
Well, they might have. That's a man, baby.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Oh man, yeah. I thought this would be a lot of fun. I'm actually having more fun than I thought I would with this.
Dude, there's a video. Do we want to play the video?
Oh yeah. I'll come back.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hang on. Let me reshare it so I can.
And then we'll go. See
oh shit. Oh no. I lost it. Where'd you go? Come back. Hang on a minute. I gotta find it again.
The patriarchy shut you down, Bob. Kickstarter.
That's right.
Shut you down.
They're watching. Art, I'm going to jump off and come back in. I'm having some camera trouble and see if that won't fix it.
Hey, no
here we go. Here we go.
I'll be back in a second.
All right.
I got it back. There you go. All right. Let me get back over here. Let me get to the video. Let me share it. Let's see, that.
Eric Boy says Ginsburg and Pelosi come with Bengay odor.
Maybe those are stretch goal rewards, like Elizabeth Warren's Indian feather headdress.
Oh, yeah. Crap!
Or what was the thing that they wore for when Pelosi bent the knee for the Black Lives Matter?
That African scarf.
Yeah, it has a name. She didn't even know the name.
Crap!
I think she knows it now, but she didn't at the time.
Yeah. I gotta leave. I gotta come back out and come back in, Art, because it's crashing my Chrome.
Okay. Joe, could you find it?
What are we looking for?
We're looking for the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Kickstarter video.
Alrighty.
I have the Nancy Pelosi one chambered if we want to go there first.
I wasn't sure exactly what Bob was trying to.
Yeah, Bob froze. Bob, do you want me to click you out, or are you gonna? I don't know what's going on here.
I think Bob is lost to the ether.
Bob lost to the ether. I feel rude if I kick him out. I'm not going to kick him out. We're just going to keep his frozen face.
Yeah, I just watched the trailer for the Nancy Pelosi one, and they do it in Italian. Is that a joke?
Well, let's do that while we're waiting. So we're go. I don't know. This all sounds like a joke to normal, rational, reasonable people.
I go to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg site for Factory, the company that's making these figures, and there's a pop-up ad. It says, "Join our liberal bubble. Get early access to new products, special deals, and more when you sign up today."
Oh man, Nancy Pelosi just went up again.
Yeah, but that's once again, it's mocking itself, and we know right well the left cannot meme. They have no sense of humor.
That is true. Let's see what this video is all about. Those are the two creative minds, right, behind this.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of New York Jews. Perfect.
Bob is back.
¿Qué pasa, Nancy Pelosi? ¿Qué pasa? Yeah, I don't know what to say about this, dude. I really, really still think it's a troll.
Wait, that's the whole video? Could they have put more energy into it? Holy shit.
Hey,
that sucks.
60 grand. I don't know, Chad. What do you think about this? This is I don't know. I tend to blame Comic Book Bob for everything. Oh, hey, Bob.
Yep. I thought you usually blame Todd for everything, which, by the way, true. Where is Todd Mulrooney?
I guess Bob's the next step down. Oh.
Yeah, the difference is that I'll actually banter back with you.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, you've got a link to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
All right, here we go. All right, Bob, hit us. She is my hero. She is a rock star.
Is she? She's dead. She's a zombie.
She's not a rock star. Give me a break.
Wow, you guys don't know who Ruth Bader Ginsburg is. You don't know how she came into power, and why is she all of a sudden a black lady? What happened?
Okay, wait a minute.
A gym rat.
Yeah, okay, dude, right there. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is totally a troll.
It's got to be a troll, dude. It has.
She's like a million years old. How's she a gym rat?
I think you're just making shit up, man, just to make them seem
I really think these are a couple of maybe libertarians or something just having a joke, and they had success, so they got to write it.
Well, let's hope so, because I think Chester made the biggest sell as far as that this is not legit when he said that liberals don't have a sense of humor.
Well, I got to tell you, if these two behind this company are not liberals, then they're making Andy Kaufman proud.
I'm telling you, dude.
This is the sort of thing that Andy Kaufman would be doing if he was alive today.
Yeah, this really does, like, just those little things that are hidden in there, man.
Yeah,
like that, like the gym rat thing, man. I'm with Chester. I think they're trolling people.
Man. And the lefties wouldn't catch it either, right?
And if they are, that's genius.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's a fine line between where I am with this. Like, I either really despise them, or I'm like, these guys are gifted geniuses. You know what I mean? Like, there's no in between. Like, either they're a bunch of like liberal idiots, or they're creative geniuses.
Either way, I'm down with it. I mean, they're making money, dude. Which one, once again, is not a very liberal thing to do. Now, is it?
Capitalism? No, that is a faux pas, indeed.
And that's the thing. Each one of these things, they're making more and more. They're just making bank on them, man.
Well, how much? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I would say the only person I saw there that really maybe deserves to have a doll would be Ginsburg.
Excuse me. Mean, action figure.
Okay, action figure. Would be Ginsburg, because I don't agree with her at all. But that woman is an actual American icon. She has, been in the public eye doing her thing for what?
Centuries?
60, 70 years. She will be in the history book, is my point. And simply just because she's the first female Supreme Court justice, right?
Right.
So the rest of them are just hacks, So
but you don't think AOC is worthy of an action figure?
I think she's worthy of a playpen layout. That's what I think. Yeah.
You don't think she's worthy of a Wonder Woman tribute?
In Playboy, sure. Yeah, I'd be all for that. Lasso and all, baby.
Oh,
the Halloween issue, Chester.
Yeah.
Chester, you're such
got the buggy eyes, but if you put like a bag on her head, she ain't bad, dude.
You know what? I always say, like, how you know crazy just by looking at it is when the upper eyelid doesn't touch the eyeball itself. When you're like,
yeah, when you see whites all the way around the irises, telltale sign.
Yeah, and she has it even in normal moments. She's like, ah.
All right, I gotta show you something. You're not gonna believe this shit.
Oh god! Oh, is this the Bernie's? Wait, who is this? Is this Trump? Okay, I'm gonna add
Robert Mueller.
No,
They made a Robert Mueller.
Now, where are they getting the rights to this, though, Bob?
I think they're just letting them do it because they don't think they're being trolled. I think they think this is a good thing.
Or it is a troll, and they've claimed parody.
Parody.
Yeah, the parody thing. I think it enters into it.
Dude,
either way, even if it's parody, they could be paying tribute to it, or they could be mocking it. I mean, it would still fall under the same rules, right? The same
it would. Yeah, it would. That's the old Weird Al Yankovic perspective, because he I remember an interview decades ago. I don't know if it was Rolling Stone or somewhere else, but they were asking him, and he basically said that at least at the time, up to that point, he said he only parodied people that he liked, and he always got permission, even though he didn't need to, but he always got permission because he only parodied the people that he really genuinely liked.
So they started with the Ginsburg, right?
Wait.
No. They started with Obama.
Darren says, "I like my women like I like my French fries, old, cold, and greasy."
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about rights, I mean, there's no way they got him from Ginsburg. I mean, she's been dead for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think they have the right. So I think we're all in complete agreement there. But I think under parody laws, they can.
She's not dead.
Yeah, she is.
She's not.
Dead. Oh, yeah, she is. It's the conspiracy of the century, Bob.
In Chester's heart, she's dead.
She is.
I mean, she may be propped up and burnt, like Weekend at Bernie's here, but she's not technically dead.
Democrats got a few of them, huh? What's all this thing about? We have to take care of the POCs, and we got to do all this, but all our leaders are white, very old, and white, very old.
I want to see Judge Judy, take an official position. Like, I dig her way above anybody that I've seen in power right now. I would love her.
Take her back a decade or two. That's a hottie right there too.
And she's well kept. Even older, she's well kept.
Yeah. Even now. Yeah, that's a nice looking woman. She's fiery too. Maybe she's Bob likes. Bob likes them fiery ones.
Maybe she's a gym rat.
Maybe. Actually, she probably is. I believe it.
Is. She is. She takes care of herself. And Bob likes his women, like his French fries.
I like my women like my coffee in a plastic cup.
Plastic.
Oh, we went that way. All right. At least Bob's not showing us his toe today. It's a plus.
Dude, there was a little video blurb with the Elizabeth Warren.
I'm sorry, I got to follow this up. Leroy says to Darren, "Take a cold shower and relax." Action figures.
Okay, I'm going to show you this. This has to be a troll. I am now 100% on board with this.
Are we going to have to take this to the chat and see what everybody thinks?
Okay.
This is
Look
real?
at this. Look at this.
Okay. Add this.
Action figure primary. Look what happens to Bernie. He's kicking her crap, and all of a sudden, he loses.
Is that Hillary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hillary's not. Her action figures flatters her. She's not that pretty.
you get what they're going at with this, right?
Yeah.
How Bernie Sanders was kicking the crap out of her, and then all of a sudden he just got submarined.
Yeah. Well, you know what it could be, guys. To be serious for a second, it could be that old Mel Brooks style of liberal, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Yep.
I mean, because those kind of guys, they're liberals as well. They're not crazy lefties; they're just kind of liberals. But they would take a look at the shines, and the kicks they got, and they would make it funny, right? So it could be just that.
Classical liberals had a sense of humor. Those of us who were old enough to remember it, those were the good old days when you could watch a movie like Blazing Saddles and you had no idea that it was written and directed by a lefty.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's
growing up
true.
in Southern California, I always consider myself being a liberal, and but I think the liberal definition has changed in the last decade
It
or
has.
so.
It has.
To be a liberal has like it used to be, like this, and now it's like this. It's like stretched out so far.
Yeah.
So people who
true.
were considered classic liberals are now considered conservatives.
Yeah, because my whole thing was like I always thought liberals were just live and let live. You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Yeah,
you
that's
want
a libertarian though.
That's now more libertarian. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, whatever. More power to them, man. And they're clearly a couple of New York Jews, so they have like humor in their DNA. So perfect.
You have to live in the city.
Yeah.
I took my daughter to New York City. She goes, "This place is a cesspool." I'm like, "You can't even see the fun here," because we only went to the nice places, and she goes, "No, I just don't really care for it." I go, "Would you ever want to come back?" And she goes, "No."
Oh wow, she should have been there when I lived there back in the 70s and 80s. Wonderful place.
Oh, it was a shithole everywhere. I remember when I first got work at Marvel, it was probably early 80s. It was early 80s, and oh my gosh, man, that place was a complete utter cesspool. And I remember, and Chester, you might be the same thing, because when I first went, I had no money, right? So I had to walk everywhere or take the subway. And I remember vowing to myself when I was taking a subway and I was just thinking, I'm going to die. Somebody's going to kill me. I was thinking, like, if I ever go back to New York, I'm going to go back with money because I am never going to ride the subway again. I'm going to take cabs everywhere or I'm going to walk because I'm not doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, Cecil has told some stories about riding the subway before Giuliani cleaned up the city, and it was an adventure every time to hear him tell it.
Yeah, I was out in Queens, and it was Panosian and I. We were visiting some friends out in Queens, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you're in New York City or any of those subways at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're taking your life in your own hands. And we knew it, but we were having a good time. So we're coming back to the city, and this guy, he just wanted to fight, and he had his goons. It was like a scene out of The Warrior, and they all had golf clubs. And they were drinking, like they're going to fool the cops. They're drinking their hooch out of, paper bags. And they come up and they're just like, they're doing that guy thing where they're trying to bait you. And they're like, "Do I know you? Do I know you?" They're getting in your face like, "I know you." And then you're like, "No, you don't know me." And then it's innocent enough, right? But then eventually you just go, "Listen, man, back off and get out of my face." And that's what they're waiting for, because as soon as they do that, that club's going to come around and whack you in the head, right? So as this is all happening, I noticed that, the other guys are kind of circling around so that they could just blindside any of us. And so I do remember, like, Panosian, the coolest thing I think I've ever seen as far as, like, under fire is while this guy was yelling, like, "I know you," Dan finally just leaned back, and then he literally leaned against one of the columns there and just acted like he was bored. Like he was completely bored. And man, it shut that guy down. Like he didn't give him anything. And so then those guys went over to some like stockbroker dude with a briefcase and beat that guy up.
Wow.
Yeah, that worked out. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really crazy. I remember another friend of mine was talking about a fight that broke out, and a guy just threw the other guy onto, what is it called, the third rail, the electrified rail.
Oh, geez.
Literally threw the guy and just killed him, right there.
Oh, and it was crazy town back then, dude, for sure. You mentioned the Warriors. Now that's clearly a bit parody, and it's a lot of Shakespeare going on in that. But it was not too far from the truth back in the day. I mean, it was New York was a wild place that just there was no control, right? Yeah. And that's what Giuliani did. He cleaned up the cops, and he made them do their job. And that's why the city got better so quickly. And it's really sad to see what's this new guy that this De Blasio. What the hell is his name?
De Blasio.
De Blasio. Yeah.
Well, Giuliani did stuff simple that they could enforce, like no spitting, no peeing, no jaywalking, like really, really small things. But when you're in a congested area like New York City, all those little things actually elevate your way of life day to day. And it's amazing how he started with that and then did the beautification, where they put the trees up along the roads and started cleaning up the city and stuff like that. And now, I mean, it's funny because my daughter still thought it was a cesspool, but man, she doesn't know what, like Chester, most of us know what a cesspool it actually was,
Yeah, no, it was really bad. But hopefully it'll get itself cleaned out eventually again. It's a sad thing though, dude. But because Giuliani and all the people around him, they did such a good job, man.
Well, Times Square used to be a place. It was considered a tourist trap. Like people who lived there never even went in there because it was just crime central, like purse snatchings, and like I would just sit there like and eat my breakfast on the way to Marvel and just watch. Like you could see it because a lot of those places you eat are like 2 stories, so you can sit right on the end and just look through the window and see Times Square. And I would see 2 or 3 purse snatchings and wallet takings within like a half hour time. It's crazy.
Well, I remember another is on that same vein. I remember kind of off topic, but I remember Trump when he came in and he built he rebuilt the ice rink over in Central Park, and he made the who was the mayor at that time? Koch?
Was it Ed Koch?
I think it was Koch, yeah. And made him look like an idiot. But I remember when he did that because after that, like within a couple of months, there was like reports of serial purse snatching and mugging and stuff like that at the ice rink. So, yeah.
Is that Rockefeller Center? Is that where the ice rink is?
No, this is the one in Central Park.
Oh, in Central Park. Okay. Well, Central Park, man, that you don't go in there at dusk. After dusk, man. You're taking your life into your own hands.
That was a big deal, though. That was on the news like every day for weeks, man. I remember.
Yeah, but Disney went in there, bought a bunch of that the Times Square area. It's definitely cleaned up. It's not a through street anymore, so it's kind of like they blocked it all off and everything. So they're really pandering to the tourists now, and I think it's a lot safer than it used to be for sure.
Well, I mean, I rarely went there anyway. I lived over in Brooklyn Heights, so I was one of those.
Heights, really?
Yeah,
that's kind of badass.
Well, it's painful. That's what it was.
Yeah, when I first went to New York, we were on 46th Street, so that was the area known as Hell's Kitchen. So every day I would.
Now it's Yuppieville.
Yeah, well, it's just like was it Greenwich Village where.
I lived there too.
The artsies went in there, bought up the real estate, and not only fixed it up, but the real estate prices went skyrocketed. So good for them.
Yeah,
man.
the sad thing about that though, I don't know if it's sad, but because I did live in the village when I was older, as an adult, because the Brooklyn Heights I was a kid, and there was this big it's like I don't know if you guys are from New England, but you remember those old style warehouses, the ones that are like hundreds of 50 years old, those type, and they had one of those warehouses, and he actually was using it as a warehouse on the bottom, but on the top floor, he turned it into like this kind of giant studio apartment thing. And you could rent, pretty cheap. And it's just all musicians living in kind of like a flop house. But since the renovations came in, I assume after Giuliani or Bloomberg, maybe, it's gone. They tore it down. Wow. That was a really old building too, dude. That was really old.
Well, they should have been able to declare it, unless it was already like, what do they call that, standards or whatever, like safety standards. But they could have claimed it as historical if they were willing to put the money, to bring it up to standard or codes. Because some of that stuff they tear down because, just the codes, and it'd be too expensive to build it back up. But to change channels, Joe, do you have anything you want to bring? There's a couple things that you mentioned in the chat earlier. Or Bob, anybody?
Oh, well,
I'm all for the ride there.
I suggested a few different things we could talk about, but I wasn't really.
Pick the right one, Joe. Pick the right
Actually,
one.
I don't even remember.
There was
all
one of the
them.
things that you brought up that I thought was
Go
really
for it,
interesting.
Bob.
I'm trying to find it here. Hang on a minute.
While you're looking for that, I've got a little announcement to make.
Okay.
He's having a baby.
No.
Oh.
I hope I'm done with. I'm done with those announcements.
Yeah, right.
No. This week, Michael Bancroft officially announced that he hired me as editor of the Lucent, and we started working on that this week in terms of editing, and so I've been able to read it. And for anybody who's backed it or is thinking of back it, it's still in demand on Indiegogo, and it is definitely an original story. It's unlike anything anybody has seen in comics, I'm sure. Obviously, I haven't read every single comic out there, but I've been around since the 80s, and I've never seen anything like it before in comics. So if you like The Matrix, or you like Inception, or you like mystery thrillers, I would encourage you guys to check out the campaign. It's a very cool story.
Cool.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah,
Thank
dude,
you,
that's awesome, man. But you
Appreciate
brought up the thing with creators trying with mainstream creators trying to do crowdfunds.
Mhm.
We had an interesting discussion on that. That I think that's a cool thing to talk about, Eric.
Yeah, because we got Keanu, and then don't we have Snyder and
Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel.
Tony Daniels.
Yeah.
Doing Nocterra.
Yeah.
So where are they at with the numbers, and how long have they had their campaign up?
I think it's only got a couple of days left, and I think they're at like they just broke 200,000.
Just broke 200,000. They're about to enter their last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's a 30-day campaign. Is this on Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
It's on Kickstarter. Yeah. And well, one of the things we talked about was these big name guys coming out here and doing these crowdfundings and not finding the success that they probably were thinking they were going to have. And
they're trying to compare themselves to Ethan Van's guys.
Yeah.
Well, they all are.
Yeah. But here's the thing though, and this is something that I touched on and when we were talking, is Ethan didn't launch the minute he started, he started YouTube thing. He built the platform before he did it. And that's the difference. That is all the difference. Ethan, like if these guys instead of coming right out of the gate and doing this and banking on their name clout to push
notoriety,
they would have done far better. Like if they'd gone on like YouTube or Twitch and built the following up, and like I said, if they'd done it for like a year, cultivated like 100,000 followers and then did this, it would have been far more successful.
To be fair though, Ethan is kind of built for YouTube. Yeah, I mean it's his calling, I think.
Yeah,
but also he caught that Star Wars crowd.
Yes,
because it's really other people are taking credit for it, but we all know where the fandom menace comes from, and it's Ethan.
Yeah.
And he caught that fever at the right exact time. It's kind of serendipity, really. And then you put on top of that the fact that, well, he is Ethan Van Sciver. He's a generational artist, and he's really good at the YouTube thing. That's what happened. So there's a little bit of serendipity in there, I think.
Well, there's that, but true. But then there's also, leaving your, getting out of your comfort zone, and you've got some guys that are starting to do that, like Dave Finch, who's not really, he's not really all that. He wasn't really all that comfortable on the camera and everything when he first started and everything. He's getting better because he's actually he's pulling himself out of his comfort zone. He admitted he didn't really like doing that, but
it's kind of like Billy Tucci, horrible in front of the camera, just horrible.
Yeah. But Dave, like he's only been back on YouTube for like 4 months. That's dope, man.
Oh, nice, dude.
Daredevil.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Dave Finch.
Yeah, I inked it, and here's Dave's pencils.
Nice.
Oh, wow, dude. Now that's interesting. So you would have flipped it over and inked on the. That's interesting, dude.
I don't think I've seen that before. Not a full pencil drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen doodles before, but not the full thing. What led you to do that?
It was a job. Marvel sent me the artwork. I made a copy of the pencils, and then I inked the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got himself out of his comfort zone. He got on here and he's building a platform up because he does have plans for it, and he's already up to 50. He's almost to 56,000 followers.
Yeah, he's really cleaning. He's cleaning up, and he'll do well. He's also. It's weird because Tony Daniels is kind of a fan favorite, but he's not a superstar. Dave Finch is a superstar. So I think that Dave will probably attract a bigger audience than Tony Daniels. Even with Scott Snyder, I think Scott, I don't know if people get that crazy over writers still. Like, I don't know if, if people back books just based on writers.
I think if the two of them tag team it though, I think like if they like made a decision like, hey, we're gonna start build a platform together. And then just branch out from that. I think if the two of them tag teamed together, they would do well.
See, that's
go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that to me, that's the thing that really sticks out is that you've got two very well known names. Now, if it had been Snyder and Capullo, I think they would have done better.
Yeah,
but
I still don't think they would have done as good as they think though.
Tony Daniel is, I mean, you just look at his work and. Obviously there's going to be some people not interested, but if you really appreciate if you want to see all of the fundamentals of comic book art in there, then Tony Daniel must be one of your guys as far as what you like in comic art. Now there are some people admittedly who look at that and say it's boring. They want something that's really over the top and really stylized, whether it's a Feld or a Sam Keith or, but
or a Dave.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Look at that.
I was surprised that Snyder and Daniel together it couldn't pull down more in sales, and it just made me wonder if they did any promotion at all.
That's where I was going with it because that's what I was trying to say. Like. Tony Daniels, like if he was to launch a crowdfund, just him, I don't think it would have done 200 in sales. I think it is the combination of both those guys. Yeah. And I do agree with Bob. I think if they spent more time to build, they would have done better. And I think Joe, you said in the private chat that if they would have cultivated and they would have built, I forget, you kind of do this math where you figure like based on XYZ, this is what they should have done. And you said based on your findings, they still were a little low of where they should have been.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I had been saying is that after analyzing umpteen different campaigns over the course of a few years now, I think that if they would have built a platform first, like Bob had been talking about, say a Dave Finch or an Ethan Van Sciver, I think they would have easily done 500,000, if not more.
Yeah, and the other thing that they didn't take advantage of was going on other people's platforms, because I know and Sean Gordon Murphy's in the same boat, and he is a superstar.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But he still only pulled, what was it? He like 270,000 or something like that. He should have been easily 500K.
Which is more than they would do working for the big companies, though.
Yeah.
So it's still money. It's
but the
not.
Thing is,
it ain't nothing to be sneezed at.
Yeah, but the thing is the reason why that happened is I know for a fact that he was reached out to by a lot of people to come on their platform and to use that to help promote him, and he didn't want to do it. Like you said, it just wasn't like they didn't want to come out of their comfort zone. Right.
I mean? And the thing is, like it's a great beginning. If they're trying to establish that this is going to be their new business model going forward, I think it's obviously a great start, and it still does send signals to Marvel, DC, or anybody that would hire those guys that based on just them, with a creator-owned project that nobody knows about, they can generate $200,000 worth of sales. And I know that, like, one of the big exercises for me going to Image Comics is when I did Black and White. That's like, that becomes your personal worth. It becomes your worth outside of Marvel and DC, because it's like you have to consider, like, okay, you were working on the X-Men, so that accounts for a certain amount of fan base and a certain amount of business. But if it's a brand new IP like Black and White or Chrono Mechanics or whatever else, then it's all based on you and that new business model that you're setting up. So those are numbers that you can attach to that individual creator, and then you can take them into Marvel, DC, and those numbers you can't take away from them. So it almost becomes like your street worth, or your what you're worth as far as your marketplace, your shares in the industry. And I think it's worthy to pursue. And I also think, like the big Image experiment, it does show the mainstream companies that maybe you don't need those. The problem with Marvel and DC is what they did is they doubled down on that. We don't need you. Instead of learning from the lesson, instead of going, maybe we should treat people better, pay them more, try to get the sales up so we can justify these page rates and things like that. They didn't. They just started trying to bully people and try to, like, talk them down on their page rates and things like that. And then hire outside of, the industry pros and try to get cheaper, page rates outside of the US and things like that. And I just think that was the wrong move. So I do believe if you are a talent of note, this is the new way of doing business, baby. Like,
it goes back to like Vince McMahon told his son, the one piece of advice is that his dad told him that he always kept with him was, never let your talent know how important they are to you. Never let your talent realize how vital they are to your business. And I think that's what Marvel has done. Marvel and DC, and DC's kind of starting to do it too.
And the reason I know that's fact, I'm sorry, Joe.
Go ahead.
But the reason I know that's fact is because no one, except for like Capullo and some of the bigger names that they couldn't get away with, they would just give you 3-issue runs or 4-issue runs or whatever. And everybody in the industry, at least everybody that's old enough to remember, one of the ways you make a name for yourself is a significant run on a title. So a year or 2 years of a run on Fantastic Four establishes you as a consistent name that can produce work and that can give and entertain people on a month-to-month basis, and something that they like and they'll come back to. But now writers get to do it. Writers get to be continual. Why? Because this is a strike against it to depower artists, because they want to basically take their voice away and put them in their place so that they don't have another Image uprising or anything like that. But look what's happening anyway.
That's all. Those are self-inflicted wounds, though. And by the way, comic book Bob, I do believe Vince McMahon was quoting Chinggis Khan, but
probably.
But
he's never come up with something if he couldn't steal it.
That's right. But no, they keep doing it. We see DC is still bleeding out talent right now. And of course, Marvel, we heard some rumors that they were going to stop being as woke, but nope. They're going even super more woke. Matter of fact, this taking Kitty and making her now a bisexual, whatever that means. And the thing with Kitty Pryde, though, I'm surprised that's not what they did first, because they went after Bobby, who was a bit of a womanizer intentionally, right? But Kitty Pryde, she is the girl next door that every boy had a crush on. Every boy had a crush on Kitty Pryde. Well, she is the one. Not these other. They draw them sexy, but they weren't written as being these desirable thing. Kitty Pryde was, and then we had this whole thing with her and Colossus forever, and then they did that stupid. Oh, they're going to get married, and then they're not married, like they did here recently with Batman again.
Right.
And it's like it's a big fu to all of you. That's on Kitty Pryde.
That's on the heels of Chris Claremont, though, because he said that that's what he wanted to do with her all along. He wanted to
make her bisexual.
He wanted to put her in a relationship with Ileana.
Okay.
When did he say this?
He said it was about a year. It was back when they did the whole wedding thing.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So, and
wow.
Yeah, and well, and here's the thing though: did he really intend to do that, or is it just him saying that?
Yeah, it's like J.K. Rowling shoehorning.
Changing stuff afterwards. Yeah,
saying like, this is what these characters were. Really, this is what I intended. Yeah, it's bullshit. And also, you know how we were, I think on Pontificators, we were talking about Daniel Cherry. Is that the DC guy?
The new DC general manager.
Yeah. And have you seen like that guy? Like we were trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Remember, we're like, well, maybe.
You wanted to give it. I told you that dude was a freaking nightmare to start with. I mean, there's a reason why.
Yeah, that dude woke as woke gets, man. It's all over Twitter and shit.
There's a reason why he's not at Blizzard anymore, because he ran their esports division into the ground.
Yeah. I have a feeling that AT&T is pushing them a little bit away from that nonsense, though. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but I think DC will get unwoke quicker than Marvel with. Marvel, it's a disease, and it's going to need to be cut out. I understand money, but that's the problem. No, wokeness is not money.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to AT&T, it's all about this.
That's right.
So, and if
that's what we were saying on the affected, show. And we were hoping Daniel Cherry was going to be that guy.
I was going to say that's interesting that you guys are taking that view, because that kind of, well, let me back up for a second. So I'll just ask you guys a question. So if AT&T, hypothetically, let's say they want to try to unwoke Warner Media and DC, would that mean that you guys think that Daniel Cherry's hiring was coming from Warner Media and there was no consultation or approval required from AT&T?
No, I'm sure they did. But see, the thing is, I don't think Daniel Cherry, even with all the nonsense that's been going on the past few days, I don't think he's going to be as woke unto DC as you think he is. I really don't.
Okay. He's going to say one thing and he's going to walk a different path.
Yeah, I think they brought him in because he is very good at the economics of cutting this and making money. I think he was brought in to make money.
He's also a he's very much a yes man.
So Bob, you're far more familiar with him than I am. So my question to you then is, if he ran Blizzard's esports group into the ground, what do you think would be the incentive from the Warner Media / AT&T group to bring him into DC?
Because he's got a track record of being very good at marketing. What happened with the esports was the powers on high basically said he was very good at putting it out in front of people and getting it out there and letting people know about it. Mm-hmm. But powers that be were like, well, we want these games to focus on this and this and this, and he was just like, yes, sir. Not rather than going there and telling them like, hey, well, that's probably it. It's like, this is where the popularity is. This is what's popular. This is what's working. This is how these things are. He basically just bowed to the overlord rather than being somebody
China.
China.
That's
China is here, Mr. Button.
Yeah. China is here, Mr. Burton. What the hell does that mean? China is here.
Yeah. I like Eric Boyd. Like he just cuts through the bullshit and he just asks us a direct question: will DC and Marvel ever return to their former glory? Hell, we can do an entire show on this. Oh, really? Okay. No. Well, let's just.
Well, not even, because even if they completely course corrected and like went right back to like the way things were like in the 80s and the 90s. It still wouldn't, because the industry isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, no, that's right. And the reason is very simple. They dropped the ball. Yeah. They dropped the ball a generation or more ago by not selling to the kids. Some idiot up in the upper echelon of those made a decision that we don't need kids anymore. All we can do is sell to the older people. We need to sell them graphic novels. We need to sell them trades. We need to push. We have an event every year. They abandoned the children completely and just kept selling them lunch boxes and backpacks. That because of that, they've completely lost the demographic. And I don't know if you can get it back because I have a day-to-day hands-on experience with kids, right? Teaching them, and I'll tell you this: just less than a generation ago, kids were playing with toys, they were playing with Legos, they were doing things outside, going swimming, running around. Now, when I talk to the kids, and one of the things I do is like, how was your weekend? It gives them an opportunity to sit at home, and it's like a little homework, and write down in English what their weekend was, and they come in and say it in class. It's always video games, every damn thing. They got what are you doing? You're playing a video game. What'd you get for your birthday? It was a video game. Everything is video games. There's no toys. Matter of fact, there's no toy stores at all over here anymore. They're all gone. Right.
Yeah. I mean, with the exception of like Target and Walmart, there are no.
But those are box stores. Those are different.
Yeah, they're just general stores.
So I mean, and it's gone that way. They didn't even bother to fight for it. They just gave up the ghost on it. So there's no way they're going to get it back. It's impossible. So the only thing they have left is to sell to us. But yet, what have they been doing for the past 3 or 4 years? They've been telling us to go fuck ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not coming back. There ain't no coming back from it.
They did not do what they have done every generation before this, which is market to engender fans from that next generation to carry you into the next one.
They didn't do it.
Technically, Dan Slott has been telling us that since 2009.
Yeah, but he sucks at doing it. That's the other thing too. They either lost or got rid of all the talent that could draw people in like that.
Well, no, what I meant was that Dan Slott gave the first formal FU shot across the bow back in 2009, and there were no repercussions that readers could see. He may have been reprimanded, maybe even disciplined within Marvel, but none of the customers would ever know it because it just seemed like from the reader perspective that business continued as usual.
It did.
And then we saw a decline from there.
That's the power structure.
Mark Waid is a good go ahead, Bob.
No, I was going to say that's because of the power structure that existed in Marvel.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted.
Yeah, and Mark Waid is a perfect example, Joe. How many times was he reprimanded? I mean, that we know about many times. Yep. And it took this whole debacle with Richard for them to kind of seemingly cut ties, but I don't know how long that'll last.
Because that was money and that was legal. That was beyond just Twitter war. But also, just to your point, Chester, when DC lost New 52, I think I was still under exclusive at DC when those memos came out, and they openly this was a business model. This was a whole movement that DC had finally just given up on kids. And all the memos and everything about the marketing, they said, it's all adult. Like, we're going to finally just market the entire line, not just like some of the books, not just like a Vertigo line or something or graphic novels. No, it was their entire line that they said, kids don't read comics anymore, and we're just going to tailor these books to that clientele, to the older, the adult market. And if you think about it, nobody stood up and said, where's the future generation going to come? Isn't this very short-sighted? So let's just say New 52 goes crazy and we do well, which they did the first year, right?
Yeah.
But how do you sustain it? It's not a sustainable business model. It's a short-term fix. And everything that they've done since then is either renumbering or relaunching, which are always short-term fixes. They generate attention quickly, easily, but they burn out as fast as they built up. It's not sustainable and it's not substantial. And the thing is, if the question was where do you think, is there a way to save Marvel and DC? And I'm a little bit more optimistic than I think. I don't know where Joe and Bob but I know Chester was like, no, they're not going to recover. I might just be a little bit too optimistic just because my entire life is built and wrapped up into, comic books and the success of this industry. But I do think it would take major changes and course corrections right this very minute. And it would take at least 5 to 10 years to see any of those fruits, any of those seeds that you planted bear any fruit, because if this is generational,
it's going to take a generation.
Yeah, it's going to take a generation to win them over, and it's going to take constant Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be in the zeitgeist. You're going to have to hit every man, woman, child over the head with DC Comics, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and you're going to have to make them accessible to everybody.
And the product has to be good. It has to be on the level that it used to be.
Yeah, but the thing, I do think that as this shift, they're going to realize who their clientele is, Bob, and they're going to have to organically start altering the product, because they're going to realize it's not the 30-plus-year-old whatevers. All of us, we still love those old comic books. I never went, you know what, this would be a better comic if Marvel and DC just made them for adults. I never ever thought that. I was like, these are cool either way. I don't care. And if I want something more adult, I'll buy a Vertigo book, or, Elseworlds, or what was Marvel's was Epic. Max.
Oh, Epic.
Epic, and then Max,
Yeah, and then just do something like that. And then guess what? It's a win-win for everybody. But that's going to take, like we were saying, it's going to take a decade at least.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that always got me with it, and I think, with what I said, I think DC has a better chance than Marvel, because Marvel is not getting it. But one of I've seen them do many dumb things. We all have. For instance, when they started pushing the digital things, what did they do? They tried to push the digital things on the cell phones, right? And but now we have tablets, of course. But it's like, kids don't have those. What are you talking about? Kids aren't playing on those things. If you wanted to make things digital, why didn't you have them on the computer? Why didn't you put them on PlayStation? Why doesn't Marvel PlayStation not exist? I mean, really, what is wrong with you? It's read the damn environment, right? And they don't. And with Marvel in particular, they have been, like Joe had said with Didio, they've been getting woke for over a decade. And they don't care. It's a big FU. We're going to sell to our SJW friends who don't buy our comics, and we don't care because we got a sugar daddy. That's right. We don't need money, right? Yeah. And so Marvel is just blown out. It's blown out. And Marvel's Disney has seemed to be threatened a little bit, but they backed up. And why? Because Disney's in a freaking hole. Disney's burning down in all corners. So the last thing they care about is Marvel comic books, so they have more freedom now than they have in the past decade. I'm telling you. Yeah, and that's why we're all of a sudden Kitty Pryde's gay.
Right. I also think, personally, that Bob Iger and people like Bob Iger, because at a time they were saying that he had presidential aspirations and stuff like that. I think these guys want to, just like what Obama said, change the landscape fundamentally. They want to change America. They want to change morality fundamentally. And I think that they really, really believe that. So I do believe that Marvel comic books was a little social experiment. It was a little self-contained. Like you said, Chester, no one cares about Marvel comics, right? So let's have the experiment there. Let's introduce wokeness there. Let's introduce these ideas there and see what happens.
We can't push back yet.
Right, and then if it works, then what they can do is they can bring this more into their film divisions. They can bring it into the Marvel movies. They brought it into the Star Wars movies, but that was championed by what's her name,
Kathleen Kennedy.
They actually had a voice to actually push that stuff through when they thought that she actually had her shit together. You know what I mean? But I do think that the agenda seemed like it was lined up enough with Iger's viewpoint. You don't get that far and then Bob Iger just all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I think Kathleen Kennedy's nuts. I think he knew what she was all about from the get-go. I think that he let it go to see if it worked, and then when it didn't work, then he's like, I'm going to dethrone you. But I do believe they believe in that agenda. I do believe that they, in their heart of hearts, they believe that. And I think that Marvel Comics was just a microcosm. It was just an experiment.
So they were using Marvel as the canary in the coal mine.
Right. I think so.
That's probably true.
And then DC, for the life of me, I don't know what the hell they're doing, because if this Daniel Cherry is on the up and up and they want to make money, then why are they introducing these AOC Wonder Woman books? And why are they, they're introducing books that seem like it was Marvel 2 years ago? It's like
it feels like they're looking at the short term here. They're looking like, how can we make a buck really fast? They're not looking at that's been the problem for a while, though, is nobody's looking to build to the future.
Well, they can get the headlines. AOC, they can get these headlines, but they're not selling books. Like they're getting woke points, but they're not. It's not generating any cash. Yeah. So if Daniel Cherry is indeed trying to make them money,
thanks, Tank.
Then why the hell are they doing what they're doing?
Tank actually had a good question here. Like I said, I told the chat, like this is their show, and they drop stuff in the chat, and we'll talk about it, anything. But he did have a question. He said, "What can DC do in order to help the floundering industry, and what can we as indie publishers and creators do to revitalize the industry?" I think we're doing it. I think as far as indie,
indie movement,
I think as far as indie publishers and creators, I think they're doing what they should be doing. The question is, what can DC do in order to help the floundering industry?
Well, and that, I think, Christian Nomad's question that Art just had up on the screen dovetails nicely into that question you guys just asked. And my answer would be, if they followed the publishing format model of those hardback YA novels successfully, then yes, it could generate a whole lot of revenue for DC. But the problem there that we've seen so far with DC's efforts in that area is that they keep publishing this woke silliness that doesn't sell, and
it hits the ceiling and stops.
If you analyze that particular market, which I've done, you see that there are two giant leaders in that space. There's Dav Pilkey with Dogman, and then right below Dogman is Captain Underpants in terms of sales, and we're talking millions upon millions in sales. The most recent Dogman book was just announced. It has a print run of 5 million for its first print run.
Yeah.
The last time comics, and I'm talking the actual comic book industry, not other related industries that they try to pull in and pad their sales numbers so that they're not in the red, but actual comics. Art worked on the book. It was X-Men #1.
Yeah, X-Men #1.
It sold 8 million copies, and it helped that it had 4 covers that you could put together to create one giant. 5.
That was kind of cool.
Thank you for the
Was it 5? Who did the covers on those anyway?
Jim Lee.
It's Jim Lee.
They're all Jim Lee. Yeah, it was the 4 separate. Yeah, it was the 4 separate covers, and then they had the one where it was all of them together. It was like a fold, that big fold.
I'll be
it was cool.
Really honest with you, Joe, just about that, the inception, all that stuff. Jim Lee had this take. He said, because sometimes I would ink these things, they were just promotional pieces, and so Jim would send them to me, and I go, what is this for? He goes, it's just promotion. He goes, don't worry, Marvel will pay us for it. I go, so Marvel didn't ask for this? He goes, no. He goes, but they'll publish it. And I said, how could you be sure? He said, they will, trust me. And so what Jim did is, on spec, he would put advertisements together with his artwork. He would come up with ideas, and he would send them to Bob Harris. These weren't Bob Harris coming up with, like, let's do 5 covers, or let's do this ad campaign. This was, I know this part of it. This was Jim. So all that marketing stuff that you see, I don't think that came, to be honest, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that came from Marvel. I think that came from Jim. And I think that became the industry standards because I just know how his brain works. I don't know how it works now, but I knew how it worked at the time. And we did a lot of spec work that sometimes you would see on T-shirts and things. But Marvel, he was right. They always used it. And then I do remember having a conversation with Todd McFarlane, and Todd was like, "Oh yeah, Jim Lee is the golden boy at Marvel, and I'm the evil Antichrist." And I told him, I said, Marvel doesn't ask Jim to do this stuff. Jim just does it. You know, he puts the sweat equity in. He just gives them great artwork, and they'd be a fool not to use it. If you give Jim Lee a piece of art, or you're Jim Lee and you gave a company a piece of artwork, why wouldn't they have used it? But Todd never did stuff like that. You know what I mean? So Todd was always more like, you will pay me for my work. You know, I'm doing this. You know, he was more like that. Yeah.
You know, before we get too far away, I did want to make a comment on the agenda that that's supposed to trying to be pushed. I think you guys are giving them too much credit. I don't think these people are evangelizing. I think what they're doing is screeching into the dark and raising a victorious fist at you is what they're really doing. To give an example of this, when it came out that the two brothers who made Matrix went, you know, whatever they went, when that came out and they're all dressing like women now. What are the responses we had all over Twitter from these, you know, exact same people from Marvel that we're talking about? They were like, "Ha ha, your favorite movie was created by transgenders. Ha ha." Now, is that not homophobic? Is it not? And they do this all the time. It's more about revenge, I guess, some weird perversion of revenge, and they are far more the enemy of what they claim than any of us are.
It's revisionist history.
I think
it is. But it's not. They're not evangelizing. Is my point. They're not. They're not trying to convert you. They're just yelling and laughing at you. So it's a completely different mindset, right?
Yeah, it's the hypocrite. It's the hypocrite in them, and it's kind of like, you know, it's like the Joe Weider thing. It's like the nerd that gets the sand, you know, thrown in his face, and then he becomes this muscle-bound guy, and then just goes out looking for a fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to kick everybody's ass and show that he's not this guy. And I do think this is the sad part about this culture and comic books. And this is where all this stuff stems from. There's low self-esteem that permeates this entire industry. It permeates. Really? I know that that Frank Miller has talked about this, and it happened after the seduction of the innocent. It happened at those trials, and this industry just put their tail between their legs and then just kind of just caved. And so what you see is, generationally speaking, you see the fruits of the labor. You see people scared. They don't want to make waves. They don't want to do any things. But then you also have, generationally speaking, you have nerds, geeks that were also picked on in school. So then when they get power, they become the bullies. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them become the bullies. So now you're starting to see these guys are now running these companies. You know, these are the same guys that got bullied in school and stuff like that. So all they know is two wrongs make a right. So what they're going to do is they're going to take a shot at anybody that looks like they're in opposition to them. But I'll tell you right now, Comicsgate and everything we talk about on this show, on Pontificators, we're not in opposition to you guys. We just want good comic books. That's it. And the thing is, what they're doing fundamentally is they're not giving us a choice anymore. They're saying, remember Thor that you loved? You know, Donald Blake? Well, guess what? It's not Donald Blake anymore. It's just like what you said, Chester. Then it's like, haha, fuck you, get over it. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is. It's mocking you.
Yeah, right. As soon as you say, well, what happened to Donald Blake? They call you like, you know, some kind of istrophobe. It's like, well, you're a misogynist, or you don't think women should be Thor?
No, I don't. But it's funny that you mentioned the comic book authority code there, because do keep in mind, talking about standing up to it and taking one's tail out from between the legs. Stan Lee dragging Kirby and Ditko behind him did exactly that. Right, because that's what Stan was doing when he brought Timely and then into Marvel, was to stand up against that, saying, we're not going to sit behind this damn censorship anymore. We're going to start doing our own thing. Right. I mean, that's exactly what Stan Lee did. And what we need is more people like that. We need more Stan Lee. May his name be forever praised.
Right. For more reasons than just that. I mean, we need somebody that has a good voice, that talks with enthusiasm about how cool comic books are. Go ahead.
Sorry, Art. I thought you were done there. I was just going to say that to tie in what you guys have just been saying to a point that we started to cover, and then we kind of switched subjects, but essentially with the young adult novel format that Christian Nomad had brought up earlier in the chat, and I had said that, you've got Dogman and Captain Underpants, and you've got Raina Telgemeier with her books. Those are far and away the market leaders in the YA space. Now, if DC were to follow their examples and try to actually appeal to kids with stuff that kids like, DC could own that space.
Yeah.
But they don't. Instead, they try to push their socio-political nonsense onto kids, and kids don't buy it in the numbers that DC hopes they would. But if, Chester, to your point, and Art, to your point, if somebody like Stan Lee were in, let's say, his mid-40s or mid-50s today, in charge of Marvel or DC, I am firmly convinced that someone like Stan would be all over that hardcover YA novel market, and there would be traditional Spider-Man stories and traditional Hulk stories and traditional X-Men stories and all the stuff that appealed to kids, all the way up through to about the 2000s, when there was a real clear push to move away from stuff that was considered intended for all ages and really pushed towards more of an adult bent. It really started in the mid-90s, but it was more gradual, in my opinion. You still had some titles that you could clearly just hand to a kid, and you wouldn't have to be too concerned about what their mom might say. But then in the 2000s, it really started kind of leaving the kids behind.
Well, I think what they were trying to do in the 90s is more like just push the envelope and play some adult themes. It wasn't a mandate per se. It wasn't like, we're going to do this and double down on it. But before going further, we're all celebrating comics right now. We're shouting out. So this is my Stan Lee shout out for Michael Bancroft and Lucent. So he right now has his book in Indiegogo, in demand. So go check it out. We got the great editor and probably chief very, very soon, Joe, working with him on that book. So go check out that book, you guys. I just wanted to give a shout out since we're getting into shouting out Stan Lee style. So yeah, comics are still cool, you guys. There's a lot of great stuff out there. So don't let it discourage you. But we just have to seek it out. We have to look for it. We have to, find it.
Art, though, speaking of trying to sell to the kids and family stuff, which has been kind of abandoned, I would like to give a shout out to Ryan Hawk. He's doing the Bric-a-Brac book on Indiegogo. It's a gorgeous book. The art is outstanding. This is book 2. It's a very interesting story of taking Star Wars and mixing it with those old, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stuff from Rankin Bass. And it's a gorgeous thing, and it's very family oriented. One of the things I do on my show for 2 years now is every time that I get a chance to bring someone on who's doing something for kids or family, I do, because I really want to support it. And the book is doing well, but get over there and support that, please. That's Bric-a-Brac, book 2 by Ryan Hawk. We really, because we can't just we can't just talk about it. We have to walk the walk as well, because we should be promoting more of those kids stuff. And keep in mind, since this whole indie revival started a couple of years ago, there's been a lot of people that have come out and tried to do these kind of projects with great art, not crap. We've seen a lot of crap, we have, but really beautiful stuff. And they have made a little money here or there and had a little bit of success with the print, but they haven't got the backing they should. And the reason why I'm saying this is because even though we're sitting here saying that they, meaning the industry, needs to promote children more, so do we.
Yeah.
Because we are into the older stuff too, because we're older. I mean, look at us. I mean, Art's got to be freaking 80, right? But I'm just saying, we need to walk the walk, right? So when these projects come up, like Bric-a-Brac, that are gorgeous books, we need to back that stuff, right?
Are you saying that Art is Ruth Bader Ginsburgian?
I think he probably had an affair with her. They got a love child somewhere.
I'm the Ruth of Comicsgate.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, and also to that point, Chester, what you're saying is, go back. Chrono Mechanics is good for kids too. It's kind of like Looney Tunes. There are stuff that's a little bit more adult, but it'll probably go right over kids' head, like old traditional Looney Tunes, not anything recent. But like if you think about all of what we're talking about in the Marvel DC stuff, the universe stuff, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, these characters are all designed for kids. Just the name, like if you ever thought that they were going after the adult market, who's gonna buy Spider-Man? You know what I mean? Like what adult just out of the blue is gonna go, ooh, Spider-Man? It's like it's a kid thing. Like they're the only ones that are gonna go, holy shit, there's this guy, he got bit by a spider and he shoots webs out of his wrist and he swings from buildings and can walk on the side of walls. You know what I mean? That's like, oh shit, this is like anywhere between like 7-year-old to 14-year-old. Those are things that are cool for you at those ages, and that's who those books were designed for. Also, since I got in the industry, it was always known that you have maybe a 10-year window per, like generationally speaking. So the reason why comic books shouldn't be changed so drastically every decade, they should be updated, but not necessarily the core of what they stand for or what those characters are should be changed every decade, is because in theory it was always supposed to be the next generation, right? That generation read comics for 10 years, they moved on to Edgar Rice Burroughs or Jules Verne's, and then they went on to actual books, and so then you have that 10-year period. But there was a phenomenon that started happening where there were people that loved comic books so much, and they loved that since they were kids, that they still read those books even into adulthood. But that shouldn't be just your concern. That shouldn't be the only market that you placate. There should be the younger, because I think Bob said we need people to keep coming in. We need new readers every generation. You
remember that little I don't think it was it a one-off, or I don't know, Joe will probably help me with this, but you remember where they had where Peter Parker and Mary Mary Jane, they're married. Peter had lost his leg fighting the Green Goblin, I think, or his son. And the book was all about their daughter, Mayday Parker.
Yeah,
right.
It was actually good.
It was great. And it's like, why can't we have that kind of thing running? There's no need. I mean, they do all these alternate books anyway. How many damn Spider-Man books how many Batman books are running around right now, right? Whereas all you really need to, dude. Where you could have a couple of different timelines going on, right? You could have, Ma and Pa Parker with Mayday Parker as the more of a kids friendly thing, and still having Spider-Man flying around in his 30s, right?
Yeah.
But they don't, dude. They've abandoned it completely.
That was the whole idea behind the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
They took all these books and they took them back to market more for younger kids. Peter Parker in the Ultimate Spider-Man was he was still in high school.
Still in high school,
Then-
yeah.
But then they killed him and brought in Discount Parker. Yeah.
Well, because they realized that they're always going to have the same problem. That's why you have to look at it as a generational thing. Because every 10 years, it rolls over. So you can update it, but you don't change it fundamentally. So it wasn't, it was a worthwhile experiment, the Ultimate. But ultimately, no pun intended or pun intended, you get to the same place. You get into continuity problems, and you get into that. Those people that read that book age out. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. You have triggered me now. I am triggered. Yeah. No, the Ultimates is the perfect little Trojan horse for them to put their wokeness in. That's where it started. That's where exactly, people have all their opinions. It started in Ultimates. It most certainly did. All that kind of sneaking that in idea, race swapping people, hinting at various sexualities and stuff like that. Killing Peter Parker, the face of frickin' Marvel, killing him and replacing him with some nondescript ethnic kid who does exactly what he does, and he's called Spider-Man.
Right. I'll agree, but I disagree. In its inception, the inception wasn't that, because I was there.
Maybe. The
inception was to try to make a Spider-Man for a new generation and to get into different markets, which they did. Those comics were marketed in supermarkets and things like that, because I know the local supermarkets around here carry those books. So what it was designed is, there's a conceit in this industry too that's wrong. It's completely wrong, and if anybody agrees with it, you're wrong as well. I don't care. Is that continuity becomes burden. Continuity becomes burden. It doesn't become burden. It just becomes more options for reading material. So I do remember when Ultimates had come up, and it was pitched to me by Bob Harris and the powers that be. And they said, we want to create an introductory character of Spider-Man to a new generation. So we don't want that baggage. We don't want any of those things. And I remember as soon as they told me, I said, eventually you're going to have the baggage. You're going to create your own baggage, and you're going to be exactly the thing that you spoke out against at this moment in time. Eventually it happens. So I'm sorry, the fucking industry is so stupid. Like, we have examples. Nobody learns from anything. We have examples like, you can't do this. What you have to do is just keep moving forward, and don't try to explain these things, and just think every 10 years you're going to have new people coming in, and market to those new fresh faces every 10 years, because eventually you're always going to get yourself into a continuity bind. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And then you're going to go, oh, well, guess what? The reason people don't buy the books is because there's 50 years worth of history, and we can't expect them to buy 50 years worth of history. Why the hell can't you? When I was a kid, when they made reference to back issues, I freaking went out and bought those back issues, man. I asked my friends.
Sell them in the back of the comics, remember?
Right. You'd go to your friends. It's like, have you heard of this story? And they'd go, well, yeah, I have it here in my collection. Or remember this, Chester, since we're older, they'd have one part of it. And then you go, holy shit. And then you go to your comic shop and you go through back issues, you try to find it. That was part of the fun in actually comic collecting, is to track down those stories and to read those back issue stories, enrich that experience in the present day. And the thing is, I never had a problem with Earth 1, Earth 2, all that shit. I knew they were different Earths, and I knew that the one that came out every month was my DC universe. You know what I mean? I never went like, oh, this older Batman and Superman with the green temples that's married to Lois Lane. Oh, that's the contemporary Superman. That's insulting to the readers. I never thought that. I always understood. I'm going to read some of these super chats if you guys don't mind.
Well, thank you for the agreeing with me, Art, and the evidence from the room. That was perfect.
Yeah, well, hey, Chester, every once in a while.
Even a wrong clock is right twice a day.
That's right. I'm an old clock.
This is the only time you're gonna hear me stroke your ego. You have a lot of good insight. That's it. You're not getting any more.
All right.
Geek Art. Yeah, to the corner. Get in the corner. My daughter just found a new comic book character. I believe she's through Marvel, called Primer. The first little collection graphic novel is great. Well, that's cool, man. And you know what? I'll tell you too. Kids don't discriminate. It could be a comic book that was 20 years old. It could be a comic book that's 40 years old. They don't know. You know what I mean? A young kid, you introduce those books to them, they're not going to discriminate. When they get older, they might realize that it's, this was from the 60s or whatever. But when they're young enough, they're just going to either like the story or not. That's it,
Yeah.
That stuff is timeless, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. If you make good stories that resonate with the human condition, right? That's the key. Make stories that connect with people.
Yeah.
It becomes timeless. So
it does.
Again, DP, $2. I just hope they don't mess up with the SJW stuff. But hey, if you listen to Chester says it's done, man.
Yeah, and I think it is. Yeah, I think our Brugman there's got a good point. That's something that we've said before too. Is reprint those old books on newsprint, man, and put them out there. Those dollar comics, man.
Like DC tried with the Walmart stuff where they were, doing back issue.
Yeah, but they were doing those big. They were like collecting them up and putting them into a big thing. I'm like, no, man, you gotta make those old newsprint $1 comics.
Mr. Brugman, is that Lemmy? Are you in a picture with Lemmy, sir? Bring that back up. Look at the icon. That's Lemmy, dude. That's freaking Lemmy, dude.
Oh, damn, it is.
Yeah. Sweet.
One of the most dynamic bass players you'll ever know.
No.
Hey, don't. Hey, do not be bad mouthing.
Hey, no, dude. I love me some Motorhead, but they are an enigma.
Don't.
Just like the Rolling Stones.
You mean they're
he's awesome and he's dead? So shut up.
That's true. Hey, I'm not. I love me some Lemmy. What are you talking about? Go ahead, Art.
Musicianship, right? Like
yeah.
That's where they're the enigma. Yeah. It's like AC/DC. It's the same 3 chords.
Yeah.
But they do those 3 chords really well.
They do. They do.
Every possible combination of those 3 chords they've written.
Yeah. Well, that's Angus. That's all Angus Young anyway. But whatever.
Yeah.
I always love that argument. It's like, no, they suck, man. I was like, then why? It's like, okay, you know those 3 chords, then why don't you go do them better? How come you're not a superstar?
Yeah, it's all the way that they put them all together. Yeah. And hey Chester, it was refreshing to hear you put the Rolling Stones in there, because just a little side note, since I have, somebody has a similar observation as mine. Early Stones, they had moments, right?
Yeah.
After the 70s, what the hell happened, right? Like late
commercialism.
60s, they sucked out loud, man. They didn't have.
Yeah, they do. They do. They really do.
Joe just muted his mic. He's like, I got nothing to add to this freaking conversation. Well, Art and Chester are about to go off on music again, and me and
I'm holding back. Can't tell. Pedro.
Music
I love Lemmy. I didn't say nothing bad about Lemmy.
Was with the Stones. I had high hopes for the Steel Wheels tour, but I had friends that went to it, and I don't think they were impressed.
Yeah, Pedro, don't you worry, man. Dude. Don't you worry, man. If Chester gets too rowdy, I'll just chop him in the throat meat.
The band I always wanted to see try to continue out of those type of bands was what are they called? They did that "You Really Got Me" song. It was their name, right?
The Beatles?
The Animals?
What?
Like no. You really got me. You really got me. Somebody in the chat will be able to help out.
Oh, it was. I can't believe I'm blanking on this.
Yeah, the Kinks.
I can see them in my mind.
Oh, the Kinks. Yeah, the Kinks. Kinks. Yeah.
Was it the Kinks or the Miracles?
No, it's the Kinks.
Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about the Kinks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought those guys, like they always say, like Jimmy Page was the riffmeister. Holy shit, man! Those Kinks songs. You talk about edgy and catchy. Holy shit, man! I would like to see those guys, have more of a Rolling Stones type of career.
They got that song especially got covered a lot.
Yeah,
You really
still
let me-
does.
Yeah. I love the story behind that. I'm sorry, I'm going off a tangent because I love rock and roll. Is the guitar player actually purposely poked a hole in the amplifier speaker so it would distort like that. So up to that point, no guitar sounded that raunchy. So that guy, that was high low tech of the time, you know.
Wow.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, that's right.
yeah. I think he wrote the Kinkies. The Kinkies, or what is this? The Kinkies.
The king. What? The
Oh, people are starting to give opinions over here. Pedro, the Riftmeister is certainly Iommi. There's no argument. Conversation done.
Tony Iommi from
Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
There you go. But Jimmy Page gets all the credit.
I don't know why. I mean, it's all right though. It's all right.
Yeah, our Brueggemann was talking about Van Halen covering "You Really Got Me," and the reason I blanked on the Kinks is because I was hearing the Van Halen cover, and I knew that was not. I knew it was a cover.
That's same here.
I was trying to remember who did the original, and just
That's always
on the Kinks.
because I was like Van Halen, yeah. Because I was old enough when that Van Halen song came out, and I went to the record store and I heard it on the radio, and I was like, I want that song. You Really Got Me, and they're like the Kinks, and I bought that thing and I took it home. And I was like, this is the first one I heard, man. And then I was like, I went back and then, oh yeah, there's this, yeah.
That's funny.
And then I took that home and I had my mind blown. Like I was like, holy shit, man. It changed my life.
I see all these opinions popping up in chat, and I could see Chester just boiling.
Ernest Madison, I'm a big David Gilmour fan. You won't get any argument from me. I don't have a single favorite. I've got a group of them.
Well, Dark Lord Mad Ruth. I was actually supposed to go to the show that Dimebag got shot at.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn,
I was
dude.
actually supposed to go, and I didn't make it. I'm glad I didn't.
You could have been shot too.
Well, first of all, Eric, I would absolutely love to go on stage with a butt floss thong and a codpiece with Guar. Absolutely, any day. Thank you. I give me a week. Me too. We'll get this tightened up a little bit. But as far as Gilmour, yeah, no, I mean, a lot of people have respect for Gilmour. I mean, he kind of kept Floyd up together, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have Floyd, because they're, well, anyway, you guys know the story. But the thing with him is, I know that band more than most other things, because I was in the Machine, which are still kicking around today, in the original inception of the Machine, and we were the so much of a premier Floyd band that Floyd themselves invited us to Britain, right? So I know that band really, really well, and I'm still sticking with Iommi. Sorry.
Well, the thing is, I remember when we were working on the Chrono Mechanics screenplay, Matthew, Hillary, and myself, and all I could envision is the first time, like, the Earth breaks away, and then, like, the whole Earth just disintegrates, and then you start seeing bits of machinery that are in the core, and then as things pull, like the camera pulls out, and the Earth just starts falling apart, and the rest of the galaxy, spoiler alert, you start hearing "Welcome to the Machine," like the Floyd song, And then the cool thing is, if you read the movie script, I think it's in there. There's a dump truck, that Team 9.2, the Chrono Mechanics, are in, and then as the Earth crusts, they just kind of start floating in the truck. So then you see all the Earth mass, and then you see this giant machine, pieces of it unfold, and then you just see this truck floating in zero space G, and then you hear like, "Welcome, my friend," or "to the machine."
Yeah. Well, I mean, Floyd's presentation was badass, dude. It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, the only band I can think of that puts on a similar level of presentation would be Maiden. I mean, Maiden show is killer, but Floyd, they just, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the tour, but the one where they literally built the wall the entire time during the show. I mean, freaking Floyd.
I didn't get to see that live. I saw a recording of it. I saw it on video, but I've got to put in an honorable mention for U2, because I saw them was it 90? I think it was 92. it was their Zoo TV outside broadcast tour where they were only playing stadiums. And I'm telling you, man, the level of production value for their stage show was on par with Floyd doing The Wall. I mean, I remember clearly they had, just as part of it, I'll describe it real quick. They had these poles and they had full size, actual automobiles that would spin around these poles on the pole was the axis, and these full-size vehicles would be spinning, and it was just it was incredible. That their showmanship was the but I mean Public Enemy opened for them. Mm-hmm. It was an incredible show.
So Chester, you want to answer this?
No, I've been sitting there thinking I don't know. The thing with Sabbath for me is I kind of prefer Dio led Sabbath as far as what a good music, because I like Ozzy on his own better with them. He's more commercial. I get that. I understand the argument, but I much prefer the Dio years. But I still love that first album, dude. The Wizard is badass.
Yeah, but like War Pigs and Iron Man. I mean, those riffs are fairly iconic. I will agree. Like in a more contemporary, the Dio years were way more, I guess, listenable. You know, it was less of the time, because when you listen to the old Sabbath, the Ozzy stuff, I mean, that really seems like it's a product of the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Dio was just a more creative dude.
He's better too. But you're talking about the Paranoid album, which was their second one, which was really what made it famous, I guess. And that's got some great tunes on. But I still like the original Sabbath album, man. And I would say Wizards, but yeah.
I can't disagree with you. But I just I'll put in another honorable mention for Iron Man. I mean, when I hear that riff. That rumbles,
iconic, man.
It rumbles my guts. I love it.
Yeah, it is good, dude.
It's really heavy too. Like even by today's standards, it's some heavy shit. Like it seems like a cliche now because it's kind of a standard. It's like when what is it? Pixar starts trivializing AC/DC songs and Thin Lizzy songs. You know, it's over as far as being edgy. You know, but I still think of that stuff because I remember when it came out, and I was like, that shit's dark, man. That stuff's badass. You know, but man, when they did the Toys Are Back with the Thin Lizzy, the Boys Are Back song, I was like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah, that song has also got one of the best breakdowns too.
Yeah, and the Seventh Star album is really good too. I don't think that gets much credit. That was way later though.
The Sabbath songs, yeah.
The Seventh Star album.
What is
the Sabbath?
Yeah,
Seventh. That album. I don't know. It was like number 10 or something like that, or 8. It was way later. Yeah.
Yeah, MCB. Yeah, Snowblind's a good song too.
Yeah, always remember, you guys. The world is full of kings and queens that will blind your eyes and steal your dreams. That's heaven and hell. Well, that's heaven and hell.
Yeah.
He rhymed in hell with "oh well."
Christian Nolan said, "Children of the Grave changed my life when I first heard it."
Yeah, yeah. Sabbath is a good band, man, and I agree with a few people that have said it out loud. Even though I think the first album is my favorite album, I prefer non-Ozzy Sabbath. I know it's sacrilege, but I really do. I just think they're a better band without Ozzy. You know, Ozzy's his own thing. And I have nothing against. I mean, I went and saw the Blizzard of Oz tour. It's probably my first concert I ever went to. I was like 12 or something, or 13 or something like that.
Yeah, that dude, he just had so much energy on the stage, man.
I thought Ozzy was better solo than he was with Sabbath, just to be honest. Yeah. And also, it was Bill Ward that was writing all those lyrics, anyways. Ozzy gets a ton of credit for his the lyrics. Even in
he takes it
in Blizzard of Oz, like that band, he wasn't writing the music or the lyrics. Do you remember there was a band called Uriah Heep?
Oh yeah.
That was the Blizzard of Oz with Randy Rhoads as lead guitar. It was the same band. It was the bass player and drummer. Was it Bob Daisley? And I can't remember the other guy. But they wrote all those songs. And I remember, just as far as, Kings and Queens, Blind Your Eyes, Still in Your Dreams, that, what's her name? Sharon Osbourne actually tried to get all those guys in, what do you call those contracts where you sign over your rights to the...
Oh, yeah. Sharon is the brains behind... Yeah, transfer rights, yeah. Sharon is the brain behind Ozzy. I don't even know if Ozzy has one of those things. But Sharon is definitely it. And she, of course, is the daughter of a very famous and successful producer. And so Ozzy made a very political choice when he went with Sharon. And they then went on and ran with it to the point that she actually betrayed her dad, right? Sharon Osbourne is responsible for all of that. All of it.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Lee Kerslick and Bob Daisley. Yeah, those are the two guys. You guys know your shit, man.
Yeah, the chats are always cool, man.
That was an amazing call out of left field. Central Scrutinizer. That was a badass move right there.
Keith says he thought that Geezer wrote the lyrics. No, he might have well been involved with it. I thought it was the other dude, though.
The drummer, Bill Ward, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, could be wrong though. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure it was the drummer. Yeah. Because I only took care of the riffs and the sound, but I don't know.
Because I think that Sharon tried to even weasel him out of like ownership of some of those Sabbath songs as well.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I didn't know that. They're correcting us. It was Geezer, at least in the beginning.
I was going to say, I thought that Geezer at least collaborated, if not.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I just saw something on it, and they said that Bill Ward, I can't remember the song, but if he didn't write a lot of them, he wrote because I thought like War Pigs was Bill Ward. I thought because he was kind of like an environmentalist, like he was like the socially conscious guy of the group. Because if you think about like Sabbath, they were almost like it was like dark hippie metal.
It's all coming out of the punk stuff. All the heavy metal stuff was coming out of the punk. I mean, if we take the Led Zeppelin connection away of heavy metal away, a lot of those early bands like Sabbath, like Maiden. I still stand behind the fact that the early Maiden with Paul, whatever the hell his Italian name is, as lead singer, they are a punk band. They're not even metal band. But it's all coming out of punk. So there was a lot of environment, like that famous Maiden song that it's not the best one, but the one everyone goes with, where "Run for the Hills," run for the hills. That's talking about the Native Americans being butchered by white Europeans.
Yeah,
I mean, they do that kind of stuff all the time. It's very metal, actually. Early metal is very much activist.
Hey, Chester, the chat's got your back there. Paul Diano.
Yeah, Diano, thank you. Yeah, I can never remember his name. But they were a punk in the beginning with him, and it wasn't until they got Bruce Dickinson that they became Maiden.
Yeah, they were definitely from that punk scene. But if you ask the bass player for Maiden if it came out of punk, he denies it.
Well, they might, but I mean, it sounds punk, man.
It has punk energy. Yeah, he can deny it all he wants, but it's not true.
Yeah, Steve Harris wrote all that stuff. Yeah, he certainly did. He is Maiden, dude.
Yeah, Steve Harris is he's the driving force, and he's the musical inspiration. Although that first drummer they had, the new drummer is good. That first drummer was amazing. I can't even remember his name.
Well, I didn't even know this. They're correcting us with. I didn't know Geezer wrote all this stuff. I thought it was the drummer too, dude. Now, why we both feel that? But the chat is clear.
Yeah.
Why do we think that though?
No, yeah. Well, I think you guys were both right. I think that what Christian Nomad was saying is that I thought, and I wasn't positive, so I didn't chime in. But now that we're kind of talking it through, I thought that Geezer had wrote some of it, and then Ward had wrote some of it. And I thought that I had read somewhere that they collaborated, but I wasn't too sure.
Well, if I wasn't drunk at the time and I had the ability to see in the future, I would have asked him when I was sitting next to him, getting drunk with him.
You guys in the chat, man, Chester has stories for days.
I do,
Art and Chester both. Have you heard some of the off-camera stuff? Oh man.
Yeah, we can't talk about that live, Joe.
Okay, it says that Billboard Top 10 Sabbath songs trashed Gypsy, Swinging the Chain, Wishing Well, Sweet Leaf, Rat Salad, Supernaut, Killing Yourself to Live.
Oh, there it is. So Geezer, they both did it, and
Yeah,
I didn't know that at all, dude. I kind of threw it all up to the drummer. Huh. Well, thanks, guys. Awesome.
Dude,
I think that Ozzy wrote some lyrics too. Electric.
I bet it. I'm sure he did. I'm sure
dude,
he did. He's
I
the
typed
singer.
in. I typed in Geezer on YouTube to because I went back to just listen to some songs, and guess what? In the suggestions, our stream popped up under Geezer.
Are you kidding?
Really?
I'm serious, dude. Here, I'll share my screen. I'll show it to you.
That's cool. How?
Maybe we go there.
Take it.
Yeah,
Look,
we
right
start
there.
off the metal horns. Joe started off the metal horns.
Look, right there. There you are.
Oh, perfect, dude. Perfect.
Nice.
Somebody's doing their job.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There's at least one YouTube bot using its powers for good and not
That's
evil.
right. That's right. That's right.
Well, you know what? All these streams now are going to be about music and not about comic book pop culture.
Dude, I'm telling you, you need to do a music stream. Then it would kill.
Yeah, we do have some stories from back in the day, Art. We do. Yeah.
Oh, man, this is a damn good album, man.
All right, is Christian saying War Pigs, Paranoid, Sweet Leaf, and Snowblind? I think those were Bill Ward songs. But then Christian says all Geezer. Okay.
Wow.
Although
Thanks for helping us, dude. That's awesome.
I just saw that it gave Sweet Leaf a Bill Ward credit.
Yeah. I love this one from Snorum, though. It's the Hamburger Helper Club has really changed. Yeah.
Oh damn, dude! Just to like kind of like go like bring it back around to what we were talking about earlier, dude. I've got the Berserk Kickstarter up here, and it has literally gone up $1,500 since we started streaming.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, they're not going to be
Dude.
hurt for cash.
Dude,
Yeah.
and they still got 14 days to go, man. You know this thing's gonna break $1 million.
Where are they
Yeah,
at?
no, that's cool. Yeah.
Where's the-
They're just south of 800,000. They're at 784,500.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
judgment.
Well, and then for the benefit of the chat, one of the things that I had mentioned to the guys earlier when we were talking about topics for the show is I'd mentioned that with all of the extra publicity that the Keanu Reeves Berserker project has for Kickstarter, I would have thought that several of the other projects would be able to ride that wave, but like we were mentioning earlier, you know,
They're all shying away from it. They're hands off. They don't want to touch any of this stuff.
you know, the Scott Snyder Tony Daniel project, they just barely cleared 200,000 with just over a day left, and between the popularity that those guys have plus what I would think would be a lot of extra publicity, a lot of new eyes on Kickstarter, I thought for sure that
Things
both-
like the Nancy Pelosi real life action figure
the
would be
Nancy
better,
Pelosi,
right?
you know, I
That's
thought
right.
the Nancy Pelosi figure would clear 100,000 easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sad.
she just doesn't seem to be picking up any of the shine that Keanu has brought.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Well, the thing with Keanu, though, it's a little bit of a special case. You have a lot of ladies going out and buying that simply because it's Keanu. So it's not a fair comparison. The comic book dudes, they may be legends to us, and they'll certainly make their money, but it's not going to have Keanu. Keanu is the hottest thing on the planet right now, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Which makes you wonder how much more it would make if those guys actually went onto, you know, the circuit and started pounding the pavement and really going out to these platforms and stuff.
Well, I actually reached out to Keanu Reeves to see if he'd come on to a Pontificators and talk about like how he feels about Indiegogo versus Kickstarter as far as platforms for fundraising. So he said maybe. So
Sweet.
Yeah. Now to be fair,
Excellent.
oh God.
I think it would take us an hour to get half a sentence out of him. To be fair.
To be fair, the
he's a bad interviewer.
Yeah, Nocturna #1 has gone up about $400 since we talked. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, but they're also in their last 24 hours, so that's to be expected.
So, as a parting shot, usually we do this at the beginning, but I want to give a shout out to our buddy who's not here, our pontificator's brother, which is Todd Mulrooney. He has a book called Florida Man, and it's heating up the airways, and it's in demand right now. And I do believe that they are going to be launching a Kickstarter version of that very, very soon. So keep your eye out for that.
Just keep in mind, for reference, he's the lump that sits in the background and never says anything. That's that guy.
So he relies on us basically to sell his book.
That's right.
You know, and the old guy that is Mike Barron. I mean, come on, Todd, step up. You know, Mike needs the help.
He does.
You know?
He's still got more going on than old Biden, though.
Holy shit, he does. I can't believe Biden's as far along as he is. Who is Biden?
Biden's still alive.
Do you think he's going to make it to the election, or they're going to drop him?
I think he's gonna make it through. Dude, they'll prop his ass up.
I was gonna say, if they have to weekend at Bernie's him to the election, they'll do it.
And then as soon as that, and then like literally a couple of months after, he'll have a Twilight episode, and then she'll take over.
Right.
Well, I think that's what they're basing everything on, is like that. The vice president is going to be president, like within.
You guys heard about her Freudian? Like the two of them both had a Freudian slip. At the same time.
I saw her.
They called it the Harris administration.
Yeah, she said the Harris administration along with Joe Biden.
Yeah, and then and everyone's like, well, it was just a slip, but then he did the same thing. Yeah, he called it the Harris administration.
Well, why do you think they chose the fake black lady who is tough on crime to be their vice president? It's kind of
because that's what they wanted in the first place.
Oh,
the only reason that they went with Joe Biden because he was their fallback is because Tulsi Gabbard took her throat in the debates.
Yeah, well, Tulsi would have been a better choice.
I was gonna say if they were smart, they would have instead of locking out Tulsi, they would have invited her in and rolled out the red carpet.
Yeah, but Harris is literally the opposite of what they protest.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a fake black, so she's playing on the on black people, which they hate.
Yeah,
she's very harsh and brutal to criminals, which they're talking about defunding the police and prisons.
Illegally brutal.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, she seems to be literally the opposite of what they're running with.
She's someone who will do whatever it takes to win and get what she wants, and she's also she's also someone that will do. She's a soldier that will fall on her sword for them if need be.
Yeah. Well, they say she slept her way to the top, so I guess that's the kind of person she is.
Well, you heard about they're trying to get they're trying to get them to sign on for a 4-hour debate on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Trump has already signed off on it, and Joe's like, "I'll do it." He goes, but there ain't no way in hell they're going to do that because it would destroy them.
They don't even want a 20-minute debate.
No, they don't want to debate at all.
No.
Yeah, because Trump would. I mean, the thing is, Biden doesn't. And you know what, you guys, I don't mean to be political, and I don't endorse one person over the other, so you guys are free to do
I do. I do.
Well, that's fine, but I don't. But the thing is, like if you can't even, if your party isn't even confident enough to put your candidate up in a debate with another person, you don't have game. You have nothing. I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel about Trump versus Biden. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. But even if I wasn't already thinking I was going to vote for Donald Trump, I still would go, Biden is a weak candidate because the only strength they have is that he's going to die, and that somebody stronger that can at least last the 4 years will take over. Like, that's their contingency. That's their whole platform. This is pathetic. This is really sad.
It's pretty sad when you look at all this and realize that these 4 people, this is the best you could do.
Yeah, it's weird.
300
2 elections in a row, man.
340 million people in this freaking country, and these 4 are the ones.
Yeah.
It is weird, isn't it? Because I mean, putting up Hillary. I mean, Trump didn't win because Trump won. He won. Hillary lost, right? It was such a bad candidate. Yeah, she's such a horrible candidate, and here they're putting up another horrible candidate. How do you go 2 elections? I mean, because Obama, whether you like him or not, he was a good candidate, right? So I don't know how 2 elections in a row they've done this. You would think they'd be more organized than this.
It's almost kind of like it's the DC Marvel mindset where they don't want the person they don't want the person to be the superstar. They want the brand to be the superstar. It's like the Democratic National Party. They want the party to be the power.
Yeah. And they put in a lame duck just to prove their ideological belief. Look,
maybe.
we can put up the crappiest product, and you're still gonna buy it because it's not Spider-Man. It's
oh my God!
Ideology.
Sana Amanat is running the DNC.
Yes, she is. There you go.
Brilliant, Bob, bringing it all around back.
Right. Well, how about this for a little bit of a conspiracy theater? What if it's all theater? What if all these things they're doing to intentionally lose is because Trump is the Democratic Party's representative?
He was before he ran. He was a Democrat before he ran. Dude, it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like, don't peek behind the curtain. You find the guy, he's running both puppets.
Yeah. Because they seem to intentionally be losing, wanting to lose. They keep doing one thing after another that just causes them trouble. So it's suspicious to me.
Sometimes I think they know they're going to lose, so they just put up the lame ducks, for progressive points. Like, oh well, we know Hillary's going to lose, but we get progressive points, and it's about building something for 8 years down the line. It's also
about delegitimizing the process.
Yeah, it is. But I think Joe has the best idea, though, guys, because he told me in confidence. I do apologize, Joe. I can't hold it anymore. He's voting for Freddie Mercury. It's the way to go.
We are the champions. We are my friends.
Hey, if you go to the polls, you demand a write-in ballot, they have to give it to you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They have to. By law, they have to give it to you. So
thousands of people vote for Mickey Mouse every year.
Vote for
Art and I are in California, so we don't get a choice. Our dear leader, Chairman Newsom, has dictated to us that we will be voting by mail.
You will be voting by mail so that we will decide to vote for you, or we will pull some fingernails.
Is he the one? Is he the one Harris slept with, or was that Brown? I think it was Brown.
I think that was Willie Brown.
That was Willie Brown. Yeah.
Willie Brown got him some Harris. He got to write a memoir.
Was Willie Brown
just the way that came out, man? It's like you got me in some Harris.
Yeah.
Was he the drug user and was selling drugs or something? That was Willie.
Yeah, Willie. San Francisco.
The coke addicted mayor of San Francisco once upon a time.
Yeah, right. Tank Bear says, "Careful, Chester. That's how one disappears." Well, I'm in Japan. I got ninjas neighbors. You bring it, bitches.
Well, you know what?
I got ninjas.
Okay,
way to perpetrate a stereotype there.
I'm riding in Chester for President of the United States.
That's right.
Are you guys with me?
Twinkies for in every house.
If you could actually fulfill that, you would be giving the American people more than other candidates.
I'm gonna vote for John Holmes.
Oh, too soon, Bob.
Wait, what did Bob say? I didn't hear him.
I said I'm gonna vote for John Holmes.
Is he the porn star?
Yeah.
At least we'll have a president with a big dick and some balls.
There you go. Yeah,
well,
that's right.
Are his balls big? I know his dick is. Sometimes it's hard to look past the dick. At least that's what they tell me. All the girls that have been privy to mine.
Oh, nice. Let's get into that conversation deeply. Yeah, let's do that. Joe's excited. Look at him. I've never seen him so.
Willie Brown pledged to get the drugs up the street, and he did just that. He put them all on his table.
That's right.
Put it all on the table. Yep.
The West Coast is going to hell. Yeah, definitely.
The West Coast is going to hell. The
West Coast is hell.
Is in hell right now.
Now, how do we deal with that though? Because wasn't there supposed to be since you guys are in California, wasn't there a referendum that was supposed to come up where you guys were going to vote to separate the state into multiple smaller states? What happened with that?
It never got the signatures it needed to get on the ballot.
I see.
Wow.
It would be nice though.
Just move to Texas like everybody else.
That's where I'm moving.
No, I've been trying to convince my wife for 20 years that we need to leave California, and who knows, 2020 might finally, get her to that point.
Shopping, Joe.
Well, it would have been easier if the in-laws hadn't moved down here to be around the grandkids. They're complicating my escape plan.
Your grist mill's around my neck. You guys need to go
ever since they moved down to San Diego to be with the grandkids, then it's even more difficult to convince the wife that we need to get out of here, because then she has to leave her family behind. And
well, the thing is, there are properties in Texas that we're looking at that have mother-in-law houses or like suites, or they have two houses on the same lot. So you guys could live on the same lot, which would still be more distance than you have now in San Diego.
We could have our own compound.
Yeah, just tell them we'll build you a freaking room there. Just come on.
That's right.
That's right. You could have the Thunder Buns compound.
Ooh.
It would be like what is that Bodyguard movie? You could have what's his name go in there and carry
Steven Seagal.
Threshold.
No, freaking that was
Kevin Costner.
Mine is much funnier.
I like the sound of Thunder Bunch Ranch.
The only thing,
Steve, I would party my ass off at Thunder Bunch Ranch.
The only thing Steve Seagal punches anymore is the buffet.
Oh God, I got a picture. Okay, so we're just like hanging out, and then we get these like gold stamped invitations to attend, like all expenses paid, to go to the Thunder Buns Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, holy shit! And so then we just kind of have like. We kind of think we know what Joe's got in store, but this invitation, this goes beyond anything. And then we get there, and it's just a freaking city. It's not a ranch; it's a whole compound. It's a city, and you have like a square block. You have houses and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of us get our own little party mansion.
We got freedom on tap.
That's perfect. Yeah, I thought you were going to go the House on Haunted Hills there for a moment, but okay. Yeah.
No, if you guys on the panel and in the chat, if you one day get an invitation with a gold leaf thunderbolt on the envelope, you'll know it's on.
All right.
We get there. It's like, okay, you can realize that we're going to hunt you after we get done eating, right?
That's right. But you do know though, Joe. You should do what I do. I'm going over there, and you just go, and she either follows or she doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you also, Joe. If you invite us over there, none of us are going to leave.
Probably.
Well, yeah, I'll just make sure we
residents at the Thunder Buns Ranch.
Yeah, we'll just make sure we've got enough acreage. That's all.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I swear to God,
dude. You can pull a friggin' David Koresh and just have him believe you're God.
Yeah.
Create his own religion, his own cult.
That worked out well for him.
So I get to sleep with everybody's wives. You guys do whatever I tell you.
And then we all have
good.
Harry Potter like lightning bolts carved into our foreheads.
Oh my God.
Can I get a tramp stamp? I want a tramp stamp.
Right above junk.
And I hear in Texas you can get whatever you want.
Yeah, there's property available in Waco.
Oh no, dude! Ruby Ranch, Ruby Ranch.
That's dark, man.
It would be fun though, and we would never leave.
Yeah.
But all righty, man. You ready to wrap this up?
Yeah. So if your
I
wife,
think we're getting a little stupid.
these are not good selling points for you.
Oh man, and we're not even drunk.
Not yet. I will be. All right, you guys. Well, hey, thanks to everybody in chat. Thanks for the super chats. D Geekart, I do appreciate you, and thanks to all my Pontificator brothers. And you know what? Even though Todd's not here, go check out Florida Man. Just go check it out. It's a good book. Yeah, we're not doing this for Todd. We're doing this for Mike Barron.
That's right. That's right. We love money.
All right, you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care.